Hi guys, today we're going to be reading Little Miss Giggles by Roger Hargreaves. Again, I think this author does a really good job with its adverbs and adjectives. Throughout this video, I really want you guys to pay attention to the adverbs that are portrayed in this book. Like I said, I think this author does a really good job of introducing those, and I think this is a great book for us to start with. Okay, let's get to it. Can you giggle and eat cornflakes at the same time? Little Miss Giggles could. Do you giggle while you sleep? Little Miss Giggles did. Can you giggle while you brush your teeth? Little Miss Giggles could. She was the giggliest girl in the world, and she lived in Chuckle Cottage. But one terrible day last summer, you'd never guess what happened. She lost her giggle. Just like that, gone. She'd woken up giggling, as usual. She'd giggled her way down the stairs, as usual, and she had giggled while she was having breakfast, as usual. But while she was out walking in the woods around Chuckle Cottage, she realized that she wasn't giggling. She stopped walking. That's odd, she thought. Now, ordinarily, she would have giggled to herself, but not today. She tried to giggle. Nothing happened. She tried again. Nothing happened again. Oh dear, she thought miserably. And as she walked along, a little tear trickled down her cheek. All right, I just want to stop right here. And I would like you guys to define the word ordinarily. I'll give you a couple seconds to do that or write it down, and then we'll move on to the next page. Okay. She met with Mr. Happy, who was out for his usual morning stroll. Hello, Miss Giggles. He laughed. How are you today? But then he noticed her sad little face. What's wrong? He asked, anxiously. You're the happiest person I know. He paused. Next to myself, of course, he added hastily. I've lost my giggle, she explained miserably. Lost your giggle? He asked, befounded. All right, I just want to stop again on this page, and I would like you guys to define the word hastily. Again, I'll give you guys a couple seconds to do that, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay. Mr. Happy scratched his head. He said, well, we'll just have to find it again, won't we? Little Miss Giggles nodded, but not very hopefully. Come on, he said, and taking her by the hand, he took her off to see Mr. Funny. There's no one like Mr. Funny for a giggle, Mr. Happy said. But it was no use. Mr. Funny tried and tried to get her to giggle, chuckle, or even smile. But little Miss Giggles couldn't. Tell you what, said Mr. Funny. I'll tell you my very latest joke. Made it up myself, he nodded modestly. Very funny. He was laughing so hard he could hardly tell the joke. When he had finished, he and Mr. Happy nearly fell over, they were laughing so much. But not little Miss Giggles. It's no use, she sighed. I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. I know I am. Then she thought for a moment. I'll have to change my name, she sobbed. And then she started to cry again. Big fat tears. Oh dear. So Mr. Happy took her to see Mr. Topsy-Turvy to get his advice. Good morning, he said cheerfully. Then he caught sight of little Miss Giggles' sad face. Matter the what's? He asked. He always spoke back to forth. Mr. Happy exclaimed what had happened. Dear oh, Mr. Topsy-Turvy exclaimed. Then he thought. Doctor, he said. Doctor, the sea to her take. That's a good idea, said Mr. Happy, and took her right away to see Dr. Make-You-Well. Mr. Happy told the doctor about little Miss Giggles' lack of giggle. He said. Stick out your tongue. Not you, you silly Billy, he said to Mr. Happy. Little Miss Giggles stuck out her tongue. Looks all right to me, said Dr. Make-You-Well. Open your mouth. Dr. Make-You-Well peered inside. He said again. You're right. Not a giggle in sight. I'm sorry, he added, but there's nothing I can do for you. You'll just have to wait for your giggle to come back. Poor little Miss Giggles. Mr. Happy took her home, but by this time, even he was not his cheerful self. What a sorry sight, don't you think? Why don't you try to giggle, he said hopefully. Little Miss Giggles opened her mouth. Ha ha, she said unhappily. Hee hee, she said miserably. Ho ho, she added mournfully. It was no use at all. I'm sorry, I can't help, said Mr. Happy as they reached the garden gate of Chuckle Cottage. And as little Miss Giggles went sadly through her front door, Mr. Happy went home to think. The idea came to him while he was having lunch. He rubbed his hands with glee. Tee-hee, he chortled to himself. And later that afternoon, he knocked on the front door of Chuckle Cottage. Who's there? Asked a sad little voice. It's me, called out Mr. Happy. I have a present for you. Little Miss Giggles looked absolutely miserable, opened the door. Here you are, said Mr. Happy, and handed her a large box. On top of the box, in large letters, it said, 1 giggle, medium size, this side up, handle with care. Little Miss Giggles looked at the box in amazement. What is it? She asked. What it says it is, laughed Mr. Happy. You lost your giggle, so I got you another one. That giggle cost me a lot of money, he added. Little Miss Giggles opened the box. But there's nothing in it, she exclaimed. Of course not, said Mr. Happy. Giggles are invisible. But that's absolutely ridiculous, said Little Miss Giggles. Is it? Chuckled Mr. Happy. Of course it is. She giggled. She giggled. Alright, that is the book for today, guys. I hope you liked it as much as I did. Like I said, I think he does a really good job of introducing and using those terms of adjectives and adverbs throughout the whole book. This author does a very good job, and I really like the work that they do. Alright, guys.